Hey, what's going on? Jesse Dale, Macro Missionary. So let's dive into, is a plant-based diet right for you? And part of what perfect human nutrition should encompass. So let's go over some of the pros and cons and just dive right into this topic. So pros of a plant-based diet. And you know what? Actually, before I get into the pros and cons, I'm going to define, because there's various definitions of plant-based diet. But we're just going to define a plant-based diet as a diet where the vast majority of your calories, we're going to say 80%, come from plants and plant derivatives. Okay, so that's how we're going to define a plant-based diet. There's other definitions out there, I'm sure, but that's how we're going to diet. So the majority of your calories are coming from plant and plant-based products. So going into the pros, anti-inflammatory. Most of us in the United States just do not eat enough plants, period. And as a result, or partly as a result, we live in a constant state of inflammation. So having more plants in your diet is absolutely something I think everybody should do. And it goes to say that if you're eating majority of your calories from plants, you're probably not going to struggle too much with inflammation. 2, now they tend to be low calorie. Now remember that causation doesn't, or correlation doesn't necessarily mean causation. So a lot of the studies that dive into plant-based diets are reporting things like low heart disease, lower diabetes, better insulin sensitivity, lower obesity-related disease. And that is all true, but those things are true of low-calorie diets, period. So just because it's a plant-based diet, it's probably going to be a low-calorie diet, and then you're going to get the benefits of those lower calories. So unlike anti-inflammatory, low calorie and all of the benefits might be more of a correlative type thing of eating a plant-based diet than the plants themselves. 3rd, micronutrient dense. Obviously, if you're eating a lot more kale, spinach, things of that nature, green leafy vegetables, you're gonna have a higher amount of vitamins, minerals, electrolytes, dietary fiber. Definitely a lot of positives to say about that. So why wouldn't we recommend a plant-based diet at Macro Missionary? Well, let's look at some of the cons. We believe that the predominant macronutrient for our nutritional ethos should be protein. So that's going to be 35 to 40% of your total calories. That's going to vary for people. We're all individuals. But protein, it's very tough to get quality protein in and meet those leucine thresholds purely eating a plant-based diet. So if you're an athlete or you're someone that is looking to maximize muscle growth or add muscle tone, it's going to be more of a challenge on a plant-based diet than it would be if you're adding some of those other protein sources. Next, low calorie. Okay, so we already mentioned that there are a lot of benefits to lower calorie, and most of us can afford to eat a lot less calorie. But if we are an athlete, or if we're already a very lean individual, then it's going to be very tough to get the calories we need from just plants. I mean, you'd literally be eating bags and bags and bags of spinach, which is another con, is it could be cost prohibitive and just volume prohibitive. You know, think of eating 1,800 calories in plants. That's a lot of food volume, and I'm just going through some indigestion things that could occur with that as well. So that would be kind of something to think about as well. Omega-3s. Now we talked about plant-based diets being very, very good as far as anti-inflammatory, but if we're eliminating animal protein sources, that means we're eliminating fish, so it's gonna be very tough to get additional omega-3s that would further help us with fighting off inflammation and things of that nature. And then lastly for a con, just sustainability. I love plants. I think the number one piece of advice I can give you is to eat more green leafy vegetables, but that's sustainable for me. So when we go out and we have our Sunday fun days, I'll eat 100 grams of carrots or kale like a rabbit. I mean, I'll just, my wife's like, oh, you're a rabbit. And some people, it just disgusts them. Just the thought of eating kale and large amounts of vegetables and things of that nature. For me, it works really, really well. So I'm able to do that. You want to look as, hey, can I spend the next 40 years of my life eating a plant-based diet? And if the answer to that is absolutely, Well, then you may want to give it a try, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some of our macro missionary suggestions. And what we would suggest is that you still have protein as your predominant macronutrient in your goal-driven nutritional game plan, but you take your carb sources and you make them predominantly plant-based. Absolutely. I probably live Monday through Thursday, Monday through Friday, really, where the predominant carbohydrate source for me is plants. It's green leafy vegetables, cauliflower, kale, spinach, broccoli, asparagus, you name it. I love it. I season it. It works really, really well. So if you just did that tweak, if you said, okay, I'm getting a lot of my carbs from these sources, I'm going to switch it over to my carb sources being more plant-based, then I think that you might fit into a goal-driven plan a little bit better than just going the whole 180 and going purely vegan or purely plant-based. So our recommendation would be keep protein as your predominant macronutrient, and then keep plants as your predominant carbohydrate source in your nutrition plan, at least the majority of the time, so 70% of the time. Again, if you're a high-level performance athlete or you just need more calories, that might be very tough to do. But I think most of us, if we at least strive for that, we would see some amazing changes in our energy, our skin complexion, and all the other benefits of plant-based diets. So by doing that, what we suggest at Macro Missionary, you're getting the benefits of a plant-based diet, the inflammation, lower calories, micronutrient dense, high fiber, but you're also getting that protein in as well. And just like we say, we're living in harmony with food, so we can definitely fit in some non-plant-based carbohydrates as well and enjoy life. Hopefully this was helpful to you, and you guys have an amazing rest of your day.